Great. I'd like to really listen to you and hear your perspective on how to go about things. And then I'll bring mine in and we can kind of toss it around some. Okay?
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. So I turn it to you.
Ooh, I don't understand, Scott, exactly what you mean
Well,
by how to go about things.
Okay, so you've called yourself a radical.
Uh-huh.
Okay. The gist that I got from your calling yourself that is that it's a kind of a active in the streets, standing up and a little bit, not violent in any ways, but certainly assertive, maybe resistant, these kind of things. And I know that we're very kindred, so we're quite close, but we have slightly different life experiences, where we came on the planet, how we've gone about things is what I'm speaking to in that regard. So I feel that we all have a place in the whole positive matrix of things that is right for us.
I totally agree.
Right.
I think, I can't remember who I said this to, what a terrible world it would be if everybody were an activist. We need everybody. We need artists and gardeners and, cooks and whatever storytellers and babysitters and all. We need everybody, people who make things, because that's the whole thing about being interdependent, that we're all here. I'll tell you, I think I've only had one truly, what I would identify as I don't know how you put it, but an experience where I was enlightened for a moment.
I was going to say awakened.
Yeah.
Like an awakening kind of or something.
It was in the Chicago airport. And my plane had been canceled and I was exhausted. And this was around maybe 15 years ago. And I was sitting there waiting for my plane and I just, I don't know, I can't remember the circumstances, but I looked up. I was sitting on one of those seats. I looked up and I was looking at all the people walking past. And all of a sudden, I saw everybody as having these connectors that went out from their bodies and their heads and their arms and everything. And they were connecting in to everybody else. And I had this realization that everybody was here, everybody was rushing around trying to get to their planes and, nobody was talking or anything. But I realized that every single person had a purpose and a meaning and that they were all supposed to be there. And that I couldn't understand what that was from my small brain. But that I was deeply connected to every single person there, and I had it too, So ever since then, I've taken that as truth for me, that we're all here for a reason. And then I think then about people who are tortured, people who are enslaved, children who are harmed, Why does that happen? I don't know. I can't understand it, and I don't think that I don't know. I can't even go there right now because I just can't. But these things bother me. But I just, that's the reason that I think we have to help each other, because we don't know what one small gesture of kindness could do to help somebody that we don't even know, that it might be something that they might remember, and then it could help them in a time of need if they could use that to remember that kindness was given to them, you know.
Well, that's to me activism. Activism to me is the 24/7, and it's showing up for the person right in front of you, you know. And that's a consciousness, it's an orientation. And so sometimes when people speak about, you know, marching the streets and everything, I just feel like we put a lot of attention, and the news puts a lot of attention into, you know, this resisting, you know, and that's certainly part of it.
Right.
But truly, if we were showing up, if we were forwarding of one another, if we were having the experience of being forwarded and, you know, responded to and heard for who we are in the first place, and we were having that as a way of life, you know, how would we need the other, you know? So right now we're straddling worlds. So so for me, I'm just a you know, a bringing to awareness person of, let's make sure we kind of move things around some and we check out what that's like, because maybe this was what was needed. Absolutely, it was what was needed. But what is actually needed today, now? Is there a place to go? You know, and I see this in all ways. I see people who, wow, they're self-expressed to an amazing level, and they've had some amazing life experiences of co-creativity too. Like a great movie comes from that, or something like Roger Waters on the S&M tour and what have you. Certainly amazing things come out of it. And could it go further? Could it go further if people had more of a sense of their own creative selves, more of an understanding of, well, an implicit feeling, knowing sense of being connected, and a higher skill level of coming together from that place of, I have something unique to bring, I'm in touch with it, I'm now coming together, where can I go with it? So how many people who watch the news clip, you know, applaud the people for, you know, standing up, participated and feel kindred, you know, go to the concert and are inspired, you know, how many of them are activated at the level that they're actually capable? I'd like to take that into consideration. I want to put that first and foremost, and be asking the questions from there, you know. And then if we're not optimally, you know, like really realizing that according to our greater nature, then what does that indicate? Rather than making a case for the way it is and how difficult it is, and I'm so busy and I'm overwhelmed, and so is the next person, the next person, the next person. Oh my goodness, it might be indicative that we want to move things around a little bit and put more of the attention on these skill levels of coming together. So that's what I'm always seeing. I'm always looking at it going, well, yeah, I got that. What about this? You know, can we take it somewhere? So activism to me is like giving people the sense of their creative selves, and then orienting to, like I just met the other day with the people from the, you know, one of the main permaculture people here in the area. And we're looking at how to infuse it into what they're already doing so that people feel like they want to stay around, like they are making a difference. We've been talking about like people don't feel they matter. How do you get people in touch with that they matter? Certainly as some really amazing thing they participate in as a festival or a march or what have you, but actually as their life, you know. That to me is activism. Now that might be very dangerous. You know, it's like arm the people with their own sense of their creative selves, you know, but the cool thing about it is it doesn't go up against anything, so there's really nothing to go up against. And that's a principle.